Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your Week 13 starting sit video for the quarterback position. Of course, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, check out all my other starting sit videos, and of course any waivers and things like that. That way you guys are ready and prepared. We got some great slate of games on Thanksgiving, and of course Black Friday itself, and then Sunday, Monday. So let's jump right into it. Now, again, Week 13 of the NFL season is here, so you got to make sure you are prepared and ready because we got games on Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday, and there are no teams on a bye. So every player is just about available unless they are injured, and hopefully get you guys some victory. You get those players back. You got guys hopefully coming back healthy. You got players like Joe Burrow, for example. These are guys who are going to be here to help you get some success because we are about 3 or 4 weeks before the NFL playoffs start in fantasy, and you want to be ready for that. Now, these are your obvious starts at the quarterback position. These are guys that are either going to have a great matchup or they are just matchup proof. No matter what happens, they are going to have some success. Now, the first quarterback I'm going to mention this week is going to be Jordan Love versus the Lions as a great start. Look, the Lions defensively have struggled as far as allowing quarterbacks passing yards. I mean, it's a good amount that where Jordan Love could have some success. Now, I've mentioned Jordan Love before, and the offense has been very stagnant, which is kind of disappointing because there's a lot of belief in this offense. You've got some receivers that have done pretty well as a whole. Christian Watson's back. Romeo Doubs has a great connection. Now, losing Tucker Kraft was a big one for Jordan Love, and I will say that definitely has hurt and affected him going forward. I do think Jordan Love has a really good matchup this week, especially for Thanksgiving at 1 o'clock, as I think he actually has the ability and number against this Lions this season. Now, the Lions have played well, but defensively, they've actually allowed about 18 fantasy points to the quarterback position overall, but in the last 6 weeks, about 21 fantasy points per game to the quarterback. So again, they're allowing a lot more recently. There's a lot of injuries to this Lions defense, which has been making it very, very tough for them. Again, my only concern is that Jordan Love has not been fantastic. But if you're needing a quarterback to start this week, you've got injuries, maybe you've got players like Penix, or maybe you're not sure if you want to start Joe Burrow or something like that. He's coming back. I think Jordan Love is a safe play against the Lions. Now, the next quarterback I really like this week is going to be Bo Nix versus the Commanders. Commanders defensively have struggled. They're allowing about 20.8 points per game, 270 yards in the air, which is huge, and they're allowing 2 passing touchdowns per game. That right there alone is probably the biggest reason why I like Bo Nix. Now, they've done a pretty good job against rushing quarterbacks where Bo Nix has some of that ability, but I don't think he's going to need to. The defensive line isn't getting past this offensive line very well. The defense is struggling overall, and they're allowing plenty of passing yards. I don't know if Commanders are going to be well enough off to keep up with the Broncos, so there is a chance that maybe Broncos are up, then they're running the ball, and then Bo Nix kind of gets maybe an 180-yard passing game. Maybe a touchdown, and that's it. There's always that opportunity based off the game script, but I love this script for Bo Nix. I still think he's going to have really good success. The Commanders are struggling. Bo Nix has done a really good job as of late. Right now, for the season, he's in the top 10 as far as fantasy output. He's done a really good job. Again, he's playing really clean. I would love to see him do a little bit less in the interception aspect, but again, really love Bo Nix. Now, the next quarterback I like is Jacoby Brissett. I mentioned him in my waiver wire video. I've talked about him about 2 weeks now. Jacoby Brissett has been amazing the last few weeks. He's been putting up about an average of 20 fantasy points per game, and now goes against a Bucs defense that has been struggling. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are allowing 18.9 points per game and 285 passing yards, the second most yards allowed defensively. Now, where they have done a pretty good job is, again, limiting rushing quarterbacks where Brissett's not really necessarily there. Brissett has been playing really clean. He's only thrown 3 interceptions since he's gotten the start, with Kyler Murray sitting on the bench right now due to injury. And Brissett has had a great connection with Michael Wilson. We have not gotten news with Marvin Harrison Jr. yet if he's going to end up playing. So there's an opportunity that maybe he does come back and that only helps boost it. But right now, I hate to say it, Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't need to be there for Jacoby Brissett to have some success against the Bucs. You got McBride still, you got Michael Wilson who's done really well, and a possible Trey Benson back this week. So again, Brissett, love it. Great matchup. It's going to be a nice little fun shootout between the two teams because defensively, Cardinals are allowing a decent amount of yards as well. but I do, again, love Jacoby Brissett. And the last quarterback is going to be Trevor Lawrence versus the Titans. Titans defensively, they're about middle of the pack for this season. A lot of times because the teams are up big, where Titans aren't necessarily needing to be passed on. I will say this, though, in the last 6 weeks, Titans have actually done a pretty good job offensively getting back into games where teams are still passing. Titans are allowing 19.5 points per game, 240 passing yards, and just under 2 touchdowns per game. They are allowing 20 yards on the ground as well to quarterbacks, where I think Trevor Lawrence could possibly get a rush or two, maybe a nice little touchdown at the end in the red zone. We'll see how that plays out. But I do like Trevor Lawrence in this matchup. Again, I think he's got this team. He knows the Titans really well. We'll see if any of his receivers become healthy. That has been an issue. But Parker Washington has done really well, and I do think that has helped. Britton Strange is back. That has helped, and of course, Etienne and Tune have done a really good job behind the scenes as well. So I really like this whole offense in general. I like Trevor Lawrence a lot this week. Now, jumping into the quarterbacks I'm going to sit. First one, Aaron Rodgers. Going against the Bills. Pretty tough matchup. Plus, we're not even sure if Aaron Rodgers is going to play. He missed last week. We'll see if he ends up playing this week due to the left wrist injury. So waiting for that news. If he does end up playing, though, I still think this is going to be a tough matchup. Bills are allowing the third fewest points per game to the quarterback position. They are allowing about one passing touchdown per game, but only 195 passing yards. So again, matchup-wise, really, really tough. I think this is really perfect. I would say reason to stay away from Aaron Rodgers. Maybe if the injury has nothing to do with it, you want to kind of keep away from him. I would look to possibly go somewhere else. Another quarterback I'm sitting is Bryce Young versus the Rams. Again, Rams have done a really good job, only allowing 11.6 points per game, 218 passing yards, and a touchdown. But they have done a really good job getting to the quarterback, creating pressure, creating sacks, creating turnovers. And I will say the Rams should be up enough where maybe Bryce Young has to get some of that garbage time. Maybe in a super flex, Bryce Young's got some value. But other than that, I would again stay away from Bryce Young. Really tough matchup. Now, speaking of Turkey Day, Jared Goff is a quarterback I'm trying to stay away from this week against the Bears. Here's my thing against the Packers. Here's my thing. The Packers have done a really good job defensively, only allowing 11.7 points per game. On top of that, you got great pressure. They're allowing 185 passing yards, so just under 200. And this is a matchup I do think the Packers end up winning. It's a really close game. This is a game both teams need to have some success to have any possibility of getting the NFC North and obviously getting that playoff berth. But the biggest toughness is that defense. Even though Micah Parsons has not been as dominant as you'd like to see, he is still one of the best defensive ends/linebackers in the game. He's going to create pressure. Jared Goff, for whatever reason, I think is going to have some struggles. I don't think the offense has done really well, especially even though Dan Campbell has taken over that offensive, play calling. I think it's helped a little bit. Like Jameson Williams has had some better success, but even last week, for example, a dud. So it does worry me. Unless Jahmyr Gibbs has another amazing game, I do worry for this one. I actually think the Packers end up winning. And the last quarterback I'm going to sit, Brock Purdy versus the Browns. Yeah, Brock Purdy's back, and that's great news. But he's going against the Browns, who have done an amazing job. Myles Garrett right now should be MVP of the league. I'm not even talking Defensive Player of the Year. He's pretty much locked that in. But MVP, I could see that happening with the way he is playing. I know the team overall has not had the success they would like to see. But Myles Garrett is just on an absolute tear. Even though he's going against a veteran left tackle, I still think Myles Garrett gets a sack or two in this game. I think he puts enough pressure where Brock Purdy has some issues. I mean, heck, you saw him on Monday night where he still threw interceptions against the Panthers defense, who has played well, respectively, but the Browns are a better defense. So for me, Brock Purdy, I'm really going to stay away. He's still kind of getting things situated anyways, so I would stay away from him. Now, as far as my sleeper goes, it's pretty simple. I got one guy, Sam Darnold versus the Vikings. Sam Darnold's played really well. I know he's had some ups, some downs, and so there are some struggles, but defensively, the Vikings not played great. They're allowing 17 points per game, so that's one of those things you got, some upside there. 225 passing yards per game, about a touchdown or so per game. So that connection as well with JSN has been huge for Sam Darnold. I do think that this is a game that, again, Seahawks can end up winning. Vikings have a lot to play for, but I do think the Seahawks are the better team. I would give the credit to the Seahawks. Have Sam Darnold probably about 16, 17 points. Be a really good play this week. I think he finishes in the top 12. I really like him this week as far as my sleeper in week 13. So those are my start sits and sleepers for week 13 quarterback edition. Of course, if you have questions, hit me in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button as well. Check out our other content, and I'll see you guys next time.